Well, if you've lived in this world any length of time, well, you realize it's not always easy. Life is not always easy. And I bounced from job to job, from city to city, from state to state, from the East Coast to the West Coast, to the South, to the North. And I never did find what I was looking for because, well, I didn't know what I was looking for. Sometimes you get in a spot in life where you may require somebody's help. And it's either there or it isn't. But it seems like more and more today, you're on your own. And that's when you realize there ain't nobody coming to bail you out. So what do? Well, first thing you have to realize is nobody is obligated to fix your life. Your life is your own. And where it is now, it's probably there because you let it there. You're the only one that can fix it. You're the only one that has the time to fix it. Because others, they're not going to have the time to help you fix your life. Now, if you have a big family and, well, maybe you might get lucky and somebody can work through it with you, help you out. But what happens then is every time you get in a spot in life, somebody bails you out, guess what? You don't learn. You don't understand that you were the one that put yourself there. And that is something that we'll keep repeating over and over and over again. And the second you understand that, you stop waiting and you start building. You have to build your own life up. It's the only way to get out of that. People just don't care that much about your life. They just don't. Most people are busy building their own lives, dealing with their own situations. And they don't have time to mess with you. That's the sad truth. You have to get yourself some discipline. Motivation just doesn't show up. You have to have discipline. And without discipline, your life's just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. You don't get stronger by being rescued. You get stronger by climbing out yourself. That's really the only way that I could advise anybody. I've been in so many tough spots in my life. And a lot of that was created by my own bad choices. Alcohol. Maybe I got into the wrong line of work. Maybe I didn't learn enough about a certain situation. Or I went somewhere that I wasn't happy. But most of the time, and I mean 95%, was my own fault for getting in them situations. The world, it rewards independence, not dependency. We have too many people today that are dependent on so many things. Right now, we're seeing 42 million people that are dependent on EBT to eat. Some of those, I would say a good majority, they don't need EBT. They just need a little motivation. They need to work. They need to get some things done. They need to work on their life. They want to be bailed out time and time again. And there are those that they cannot work. They are in a position, maybe they are disabled. They're in a position that by no fault of their own, they found their life in. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth and others struggle their entire life. I believe we are sent here as a school to learn. And many people fail that school miserably. They set themselves up time and time again for failure. And when this life's over, you go to the next life, they're going to say, what'd you do? What'd you learn? Some people are going to be sitting there like this. It was hard. It was hard, man. Yeah, you don't want to be that person, do you? No. And I said in many videos, sometimes you just got to pick your stuff up and go. You know, you can't heal in the same place you fell apart. You just can't. If you were hanging around a group of friends and got involved in a bunch of drugs, or they're your drinking buddies, you got to get away from that. You can't heal where you fell apart. You can't go with that same group of friends and say, I don't drink no more. They're going to look at you and say, well, you're driving. You're going to become a chauffeur. That's what you'll be. You won't have fun. You won't enjoy it. They won't understand. They won't like you the way you are now. So that's why sometimes you got to just pick up and move where nobody knows you. Yes, it's possible. I don't care what your situation is. You can do it. Or get away from a certain group of people that were aiding you in making the mistakes you made. The Calvary isn't coming, man. It just isn't. People aren't lining up to save you, to help you, because you're it. You're it when it comes to getting out of a situation. You're the only one you can depend on. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're just going to keep repeating over and over and over and struggling your entire life. There's times in your life that you want to just give up, you know. A lot of people don't want to live anymore because they just seem like they're a failure. But when you take a look at a lot of these people, they never really even tried. Okay, they give up too easy. Life is supposed to be a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, I don't think it would be interesting. It has to be a challenge to make things satisfying. You're not going to be satisfied. I mean, if you're born to billionaire parents and you've always had money, you can't appreciate money. You can't appreciate the finer things in life. I wouldn't know what that's like. I sure wouldn't. The best way to be is to struggle a little and start out slowly. Okay? Just look at it this way. You get your very own apartment. There ain't a stitch of furniture in it. You get a couple of cardboard boxes, you make a couple of tables, you get a bean bag, you got a chair. Next week, you're going to go get a radio. Week after week after week, you just do something a little different to make that place more comfortable for you. Most people don't make their life comfortable. They get up, they go to work, they come home. Their routine is boring, same day after day. Their paychecks are going out to credit card bills, car payments. A lot of people overextend themselves, and that's how they get in the position where they want somebody to bail them out. You have to start thinking you are the only one on earth, and every decision you make affects you and you only. But the reality is, your decisions affect a lot of people, especially if you have a family, if you have kids, you have a spouse. Your decisions could affect a whole lot of people. So you need to make them wisely. Now, I am by far nobody to give advice on life. It was only in the last 10, 12, 15 years where I started living a little better, started making wiser choices. I drank, I went to the bars, I did all the things most people do, and I did them more probably than most people do. But you face a time where it has to end. That part of your life has to end, and you have to begin a new chapter in your life. You're going to find, you may think now, especially if you're a drinker or you're on drugs, whatever, you may think, well, that sounds awful boring. What will I do? It will all work out. I will tell you, it will work out. Not only will it work out, but you'll have a yapping dog in the background. You guys probably can't hear. I always notice in these videos, but you will notice that you give those things up, you change your life, you take a different path, it'll take care of itself. You will have plenty to do. You will enjoy it more. You will feel much better. It's just great. But just keep in mind, people, one of the least liked things people like to do is bail people out of situations. I've had certain friends that I know when they call, they either want something or they're in trouble. And so you don't answer. You try not to answer. You don't want to be that friend to where when you do have to have help from somebody, well, they're going to answer and they may help you. All right, I had to pause. The neighbor dog knows when I feed my dogs, and he comes over most of the time to play with the girls, but he knows, and he tries to get into their supper, and then Rooster snitches him out, and she's still barking. I think he probably tried to come back up here now. But anyway, a year ago, 2 years ago, if you told me I would be sitting here making some sort of video like this, I would have laughed, because I was certainly, not in any position to give anybody advice. But I just made a lot of changes in the last couple of years that now I realize, after making them changes, that, man, why didn't I do this years ago? Quit drinking, start eating better, lose weight. My life would have been so much easier. But then I think, now I had those struggles, over the years. Now that I've had those struggles and I know what that's like, that makes this life so much better now. And that's what it's all about. You don't want to forget your struggles, because your struggles are part of you. They're part of your life. And without struggle, well, you can't have enjoyment. You can't enjoy and appreciate something if you didn't struggle to get it. That's the best way to own something. I mean, if somebody handed you $1,000, yes, you might take it and you might spend it, but you're not going to feel the same as if you earned that 1,000 yourself. It's just a whole different scenario. So don't give up. Whoever's watching this, if my videos seem to catch people at the right time. I don't know what that is. Divine intervention, I don't know, or some people. But if only one person sees this and says, "Hey man, I'm gonna try harder." Yeah, because the Calvary ain't coming. Well, there you go. Wait a minute. Is that the Calvary coming over there? Oh, that's a squirrel. Calvary is squirrels. All right, enough rambling. Happy trails.